Alexandra Cooper managed to transform a microphone in her bedroom into a $125 million media empire in just a few years. In 2018, Cooper and her roommate, Sophia Franklin, launched the Call Her Daddy podcast. Under the Barstool Sports banner, the show was an immediate hit, reaching 2 million downloads in just its first 2 months. The financial disconnect of their first contract was massive. While the podcast generated an estimated $11 million a year, the hosts were locked into $75,000 salaries. Furthermore, Barstool held complete legal control over the intellectual property, the name, the RSS feed, and the listeners. If the hosts attempted to leave for a better deal, they would lose their entire digital identity. They had built a massive audience, but they didn't actually own the means to reach them. In the spring of 2020, the show went dark. New episodes stopped appearing as contract negotiations between the hosts and Barstool reached a breaking point behind the scenes. Franklin's strategy was centered entirely on immediate compensation. Advised by an outside executive, she held out for high cash guarantees and considered moving the show to a rival network like Wondery. Cooper, who managed the technical backend and editing of the show, took a different view. She recognized that a higher salary would be a temporary fix if they didn't reclaim the intellectual property. Cooper eventually bypassed her co-host, going directly to Barstool founder Dave Portnoy to negotiate a solo deal that would save the program. The resulting agreement gave Cooper a 75-25 revenue split in her favor and a contractual path to eventually own the Call Her Daddy brand outright. Cooper's decision to dissolve her partnership was a strategic pivot. She prioritized long-term ownership of the asset over a short-term increase in her base salary. As the sole host and future owner of the brand, Cooper faced a new hurdle. A podcast built on raunchy dating advice and locker room talk had a low ceiling for the type of premium advertisers needed to reach the next financial level. Early episodes like the Gluck Gluck 9000 were effective for building a niche, but Cooper needed to evolve the content to become a mainstream media product. She began using high-profile guest appearances to change the show's tone. A viral interview with Miley Cyrus in August 2020 served as a signal that the show was moving into more professional territory. The podcast shifted to include clinical psychologists and interviews with Hollywood legends like Jane Fonda, focusing on mental health and prestige storytelling. This pivot culminated in October 2024, when Cooper conducted a sit-down interview with Vice President Kamala Harris to discuss national policy and the upcoming election. By expanding into serious cultural and political topics, Cooper succeeded in distancing her brand from its controversial beginnings. She transformed a niche podcast into a mainstream commodity. The first major payoff of this strategy came in June 2021, when Cooper signed a 3-year deal with Spotify worth $60 million. Because she had secured the intellectual property rights, Cooper held total leverage over the show's digital distribution and its massive advertising revenue stream. In August 2024, that value doubled. Cooper signed a $125 million deal with SiriusXM, one of the largest contracts in the medium's history. This allowed her to launch the Unwell Network, using her infrastructure to manage other top internet creators. A $125 million contract for a single brand represents a massive shift in market value. By owning her IP, Cooper has managed to secure the kind of capital once distributed across an entire network's programming slate. Cooper's trajectory suggests that creative talent is only a starting point. The transition to a high-value media company required a relentless focus on ownership and the legal control of her own brand. In 6 years, Cooper moved from an underpaid $75,000 contract to a $125 million executive role. Her path demonstrates the specific financial ceiling for those who work for a network versus those who own the infrastructure themselves. If you were in their shoes, would you take that original Barstool deal or walk away? Let us know in the comments below. For more creator economy deep dives, like this video and subscribe to the Viral Scope.